I laced up my hiking boots, slung my backpack over my shoulder, and set off into the remote forest. The trees towered above, casting deep shadows that stretched and twisted in the fading light. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I walked, the only sound the crunch of leaves and twigs beneath my feet. As night began to fall, I set up camp, building a small fire to ward off the chill. The flames danced and spat, casting flickering shadows on the trees. I tried to shake the feeling of being watched, telling myself it was just my imagination. But the silence was oppressive, and I couldn't shake the sense that I was being stalked. The next morning, I woke to find that my campsite had been disturbed. Footprints circled the fire, mirroring my own movements. I felt a jolt of fear as I realized that something had been watching me, learning my patterns. I quickly packed up and set off, trying to put as much distance between myself and the campsite as possible. As the day wore on, I began to feel a sense of unease. The trees seemed to be closing in around me, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being herded toward some unknown destination. I tried to navigate using my map and compass, but the forest seemed to shift and twist, making it impossible to get a bearing. That night, I set up camp in a small clearing, trying to start a fire to ward off the darkness. But the flames refused to catch, and I was left huddled in the cold, darkness closing in around me. I heard the sound of twigs snapping, and leaves rustling, and I knew that something was out there, watching me. The next morning, I woke to find that my campsite had been surrounded by strange symbols, etched into the trees. They seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, and I knew that I was being stalked by something ancient and evil. I tried to flee, but the forest seemed to be shifting and twisting, making it impossible to escape. As night began to fall, I heard the sound of footsteps, echoing through the forest. They were light, almost imperceptible, but they were getting closer. I tried to start a fire, but the flames refused to catch, and I was left huddled in the darkness, waiting for whatever was out there to make its move. The footsteps stopped right outside my campsite, and I felt a sense of icy calm wash over me. I knew that I was being stalked, and that whatever was out there was waiting for the perfect moment to strike. I tried to scream, but my voice was frozen in my throat, and I was left paralyzed with fear. And then, everything went black. I was consumed by an inky darkness, and I felt myself being pulled into the heart of the forest. I was never seen or heard from again, and the forest was left to its secrets. But some say that on certain nights, you can still hear my screams, echoing through the trees, a reminder that some horrors are better left unspoken.